Some tens of thousands of Palestinians in Rafah have been ordered to leave ahead of an expected Israeli operation into the city. Also today, B'nai B'rith Canada is releasing some new data about the rise of anti-Semitism in this country. We'll go to CTV's Colton Prale now for more on this. So, Colton, what are the latest developments from the war side of things so far this morning?
Jamie, concerns that incursion into Rafah may have already begun. We saw smoke and explosions from Rafah this morning. There's been no confirmation on the extent of the damage, but we do know they were caused by Israeli airstrikes. Unsure if there were any fatalities at this point. We know overnight strikes in Rafah over the weekend, I should say, killed about 19 people there. Israel has said that there will be a limited scope operation in Rafah and that they have also begun dropping leaflets and pamphlets for that evacuation. About 100,000 people are expected to move from the eastern portion of that city into the western half of the Gaza Strip. Israel has set up a humanitarian encampment for them to go to called Mawali, but there are grave concerns about the damage that this could cause. France has already said that this forced displacement is a war crime. Other international allies have condemned this, and the large reason for that is because of the amount of people in Rafah. Over half of the population of Gaza has been forced to flee to this southern city. 1.4 million people there, 600,000 of them children, and so there has been vast outcry from international allies and international aid organizations like UNRWA speaking out against this, not just because of the damage it could cause, UNRWA calling it a tragedy if this were to occur, but they're also warning it could have unintended consequences, specifically with the mass evacuation of so many people. That could lead to more. Here's how the UNRWA director in Gaza described it.
Our concern is, as these 100,000 people, if they choose to evacuate to the west, that it would create panic with the rest of the population, and you'd see mass movement of people to areas that are just not prepared to receive them.
And so, Jamie, as this conflict begins, there are a lot of questions as to whether or not there is enough space for these people to flee to, but also if this is the beginning of a larger conflict in Rafah, if this is the beginning of that incursion, that invasion that Benjamin Netanyahu has promised for months, or if this is simply a smaller operation being used as a negotiating tool to try to get Hamas to shift as a result of those failed negotiations this weekend.
Okay, and Colton, also happening this morning, we're expecting to get some new data about the prevalence of anti-Semitism in this country. What are these numbers showing?
Yeah, a new report from B'nai B'rith just came out. They are still doing that press conference, but the early data shows an incredibly large spike in anti-Semitic incidents in Canada in 2023. B'nai B'rith does a tally every year. This was the highest that they have ever recorded since 1982, just shy of 5,800 incidents, more than double the previous record of about 2,800 incidents. The majority of those happening in Ontario and online. They also said that there was a strong spike in violent incidents as well. Jamie?
Okay, well, more from that throughout the morning. That is CTV's Colton Prale in Ottawa. Thanks, Colton.